Hey lovelies, and welcome back to the Koi Corner, where hormones get balanced, guts get healed, and we let that shit go. Intentionally, of course. I'm Kayla, holistic wellness coach, nutritionist, and your go-to girl for cycle syncing, detoxing, and building a body you actually want to live in. If you're into practical wellness with a little bit of sass and science, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and drop down in the comments below what your favorite part of this video is. All right, let's just get into it. Today, we are talking about PMS, PMS to perimenopause. Basically, what you do in your 20s and your 30s and how that affects your 40s. Setting yourself up for perimenopause. It is honestly not a talked about enough topic. And I see a lot of women having a lot of questions around perimenopause and menopause itself. A lot of women finding that they're struggling during menopause. And honestly, it's really just comes down to how well we treated ourselves in our 20s and 30s in regards to our hormones and our cycles, our menstrual cycles. So quick preface, your menstrual cycle, we're going to be talking about the whole menstrual cycle. We're talking about the 4 weeks, 28 days, 28 to 35 days of a cycle. So when we talk about cycle, that's what we mean. We're not talking about just the period, just the days you bleed. We're talking about the entire cycle, right? There's 20 to 35 days. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and how that is going to be then affecting your 40s. So perimenopause. Not to say that when you turn 40, you just suddenly wake up with perimenopause. That's not the case. Some women start earlier. Some women start a lot later. And so, yeah, we'll just head on in. So I've got my little talking points because if I do not have talking points, guys, I will be, by the end of this video, I'll be talking about farming. Trust. The ADHD is real. Okay, cool. If you've ever thought of PMS and mood swings and burnout, all those typical like PMS symptoms, if you've ever thought about those and you've thought to yourself, that's just part of being a woman, that's what we're going to be debunking today. First and foremost, any of those kinds of symptoms are red flags. Those are your body's way of telling you something's not right. Please help me. So it is not normal to have incredibly painful periods. It's not normal to have headaches and to be cramping and to have heavy bleeding and to have clots. That's a big one that a lot of my clients, they are like, oh, I thought it was normal to have clots. No, it's not normal to have clots in your period blood. So all of those kinds of symptoms that come around your cycle, your quote unquote PMS symptoms, in terms they are relatively normal if it is not necessarily impacting your life drastically. There are things to look out or to look for in case there is something deeper. Your body's being like, yo, hey girl, I need some help. And obviously, if those PMS symptoms worsen and they get really debilitating, that's a serious issue that needs to be looked at. Before we actually just go in, let me just preface this as well. If you noticed throughout this that you've got concerns or questions, you can drop them down in the comments down below. But I always recommend for you to go see your healthcare provider, your healthcare practitioner, your doctor, whoever you trust in the health space. If you've got concerns or serious questions, do go and see them. Make an appointment and go see them and get your questions cleared, answered. If that makes sense. Cool. PMS is not a personality trait. That's literally my introduction to my next talking point. PMS isn't a personality trait. Let's stop normalizing the fact that bloating is normal. It's not normal. Heavy periods, it's not normal. We really need to start shifting away from normalizing these symptoms and seeing them as potential hormone imbalance, hormonal shifts. There could be serious conditions like PCOS, endo, thyroid issues. Obviously, on the more serious spectrum, there is something called PMDD, which is a severe debilitating case of PMS that I can break down in a completely separate video. That there's not time for that completely. So if you've got questions on PMS versus PMDD, drop it down. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will do a separate video explaining that exactly. So common signs that we ignore: mood swings, bloating, fatigue, anxiety. Hello, girls. Sore boobs and breakouts. We just like normally go like, oh, that's normal. You know, we've been dealing with that since we were teens. Like most of our friends, family, in some cases, doctors, if you might have experienced, they just kind of brush those off. Those are signs and signals. These symptoms is basically your body saying something's not right. Please, can you look into this? Please, can you help me? So it's up to us to decode it. Thankfully, there is a lot of information out there. There are some phenomenal practitioners out there who know their stuff and can do deep dives to really find the root cause of these issues. So what you do now shapes how you feel later. So everything that we do in our 20s and 30s will determine how we experience perimenopause and then menopause later on. Everything from your symptoms that you experience during your cycle to burnouts, to pregnancy, postpartum, all of those things that we experience. Trauma is a big one, and stress. Those are actually two ones that aren't talked about enough, I don't think. And then I'm a bit biased when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum, because I do think it is, us as women are definitely built for it, but I do think it's brushed off a little bit. Like, it's so normal to have babies that postpartum and pregnancy isn't taken seriously in the consensus of how it impacts the body. A pregnancy is an incredibly taxing experience to go through on the body. It depletes nutrients. That baby is literally taking whatever it needs from you. Your body really takes a toll. And then naturally postpartum as well. Those hormones are going all over the place. We're trying to recover. There's burnout a lot of times, depending on what culture you come from. Western culture very much leans on the concept of like women need to go back to work like 6 weeks after giving birth. That seems to be like a norm, especially in like the millennial space. We see some changes happening now. We see some like shifts happening, but that plays a huge impact on your hormonal system, which will show through in your 40s when you go through perimenopause. 5 ways your current habits shape your hormonal future. Number 1 is cycle awareness equals self-awareness. When you are tracking your cycle, you understanding what is normal to you, you are then able to note the changes that happen, and you are able to then go, this is perimenopause, or this is a hormonal shift. Let me go see my doctor or healthcare provider in regards to that. Not knowing, like not tracking your cycle, not being aware of what's normal for you doesn't give you a good baseline to understand your body and where it's at right now. You might feel fine, or we might be caught up in the chaos, and I'm completely guilty for this. We get caught up in the chaos. It's work, work, work. If you hustle money like me, Capricorn, hardcore I am. You get caught up in the chaos, caught up in the hustle. You don't track your cycle, and then 6 months down the line, you're like, I'm struggling. I just feel off. In the meantime, you missed 7 other things that happened to your cycle. You get 6 months down the line, a year down the line, and it's like your cycles are irregular. They're incredibly heavy, and like you just wake up one day and you go like, this isn't normal, right? This doesn't feel right to me anymore. Tracking your cycle is a really, really important, handy tool to have to give you your baseline. Then if you know your baseline, you can catch your imbalances early on and in time, which I think is smarter. Okay, nourishment equals prevention. And it's something that I think is so, so important, and we take this for granted. I think a lot of people take this for granted. When we bleed, we give birth, we stress, all of those living, anything like that, we actually use up nutrients in our body. Now, if we're not replenishing those nutrients, we're becoming slowly but surely more and more deficient. Things like zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, all of those, they are incredible use. They have incredible uses within the body. Now, if you are under a lot of stress at work. Your body is needing to cope with that stress. We are using those nutrients, we're depleting the body, and then you go home, you skip your breakfast, you drink coffee on an empty stomach, and you slap whatever you can together for dinner, and you're not actually replenishing your body with those nutrients. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're just kind of depleting. Okay? Even if you aren't stressed at work, or you don't have a lot of pressure, or you haven't had kids, you don't plan on having kids, or whatever the case may be, you don't plan on doing the pregnancy, or you haven't had the pregnancy and the birth, you still bleed every month. And even if you have irregular cycles, or you don't have a period, you still have hormonal shifts, which require nutrients to make those hormonal shifts do what they're supposed to do. So we need to replenish what our body is using to exist, basically. Okay. So like basically something like low iron at 27, right, will be like burnout by 47, for example. So you want to make sure that you are looking after yourself in your 20s and 30s, replenishing what you can, so that by the time you hit 40 or 50 or 60, you aren't completely wiped out and wondering why you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. You go to your doctor, I'm not feeling right. They do a few blood tests, and all of a sudden they pick up all these things. You can actually pick up a lot of potential issues early on if you work with an amazing healthcare provider, and they can spot these things early on. It is possible. You don't have to wait to be sick. You can see these things coming. You just need to find the right healthcare provider, because not all of them are like that. But that's, again, another video for another time. Next up, your liver. And your liver equals your hormone janitor. Your liver is what helps remove excess hormones. Something that we talk about a lot is your liver removing excess estrogen. Now, if your liver isn't functioning optimally, you're not supporting it, it's getting a bit sluggish, your liver isn't going to be able to take out the excess estrogen. Now, if your liver can't take out the excess estrogen, it's going to be recycled back into your body. Guess what? You're going to have extra estrogen than what you need. Therefore, double downing and becoming estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance is something that I see a lot with my clients. It is also something that instigates or kind of is a catalyst for many other things as well. So we want our liver to be healthy and supported, so we can get rid of the excess hormones. So if your liver is overworked from meds, alcohol, processed foods, guess what? Estrogen builds up. Hello, PMS, fibroids, and weight gain. Next up, stress isn't harmless. There's good stress and there's bad stress, but we underestimate the damage that stress can do. I read something up the other day. It was based on a research that was done. I'm going to see if I can find it, because then I can tag it down below. And it was leaning towards the idea that stress is the biggest killer, okay? Which I would not be surprised by, let's be honest. Stress is incredibly taxing on the body. Stress hormone is cortisol, which again, also cortisol is another hormone that, if not balanced correctly, can cause havoc in the body. So cortisol becomes the queen if you aren't keeping it balanced nicely. So your sex hormones take a back seat. And we need to make sure that those are kept beautifully in balance, so that we aren't causing too many problems in the body. Unprocessed stress in your 30s, that's hormonal chaos in your 40s. Unprocessed stress, oh my gosh, I'm literally just going to be sitting here and telling you guys, just go do the therapy. Go do the therapy. You want to really be able to manage your stress, process your stress, do the silly little things, do the journaling, go to therapy, do the breathing. It sounds silly and it sounds woo-woo, but it works. And hopefully in the future on this channel, I can bring more research-based concepts to you guys as well. We can go deep diving into the research on the effectiveness of breathing, for example. There's so much research out there. I deep dive into articles many times, and it would be great just to have that concept in the backing so that you guys can go, oh, cool, this is what the research shows. Let's apply it and see how it works in my life. Also, you know your body best. And my personal opinion is if something works for you, whether it's placebo or real, it works for you. It makes you happy. You're not hurting anyone. Go for it. Gut health is non-negotiable. So gut health is incredibly important. I'm sure some of you who are into wellness, you've probably been into wellness for a bit and you've heard bits and bobs on gut health. And we know that it acts as the second brain. It is responsible for things like your immune system, your hormone health. Your gut health plays a huge role in a lot of things within your body. Something that we learn as holistic nutritionists is that the body is connected, all connected, and everything has its role, and it's not isolated, right? And in some cases, we can look at the body in a very isolated way and we go, oh, well, the thyroid has an issue, so let's fix the thyroid, instead of taking the bigger picture and taking a holistic approach and going, what is affecting the thyroid, and what is the thyroid doing that's affecting other things in the body. Everything is connected. Everything works as a whole. And the gut is incredibly important in the whole scope of the body. If you are pooping daily, great. If you're pooping a couple times, that's even better, right? There is some research that says you need to poop after every meal. Some research says pooping once a day is perfect. Just make sure you're pooping. As a new parent myself, one of the main things that I learned as a new mom is when you are looking after your little one and you're a bit concerned about them being sick or unwell or whatnot, they can't tell you, like, mom, I've got a stomach bug, right? The important thing is like, are they pooping, are they eating, and are they playing? If they're doing those things, especially the pooping and the eating, if they're doing those two things, we're on a good track. We're okay, right? So pooping is super important. It also helps with detoxing your estrogen, believe it or not. So your estrogen comes out in your poop. So we want to be pooping regularly, otherwise it just gets recycled in. Obviously pooping is like the way we get rid of our waste, and if we are constipated, if we backed up, if there are impactions or anything in the scope of remnants being left behind in the gut, anything that is in that waste, toxins, heavy metals, parasites, excess hormones, basically anything that your body is trying to get rid of, if it's not coming out of the body, it's sitting in the body and it's recycling back into the tissues of the body. We want to make sure that we're doing the deed regularly. Not that kind of deed, the pooping deed. That deed as well. We want to be doing that regularly too. Cool. How to support your hormones now. So if you're in your 20s and your 30s, I'm going to give you a few rapid fire things that you can do to help support your hormones. Quick fire list. Track your cycle and your symptoms. Get a period tracker. Probably by the time this video goes up, there'll probably be a free one on my website. So, check it out there. Get a period tracker, track it. Get to know what your baseline is. Get to know what your cycle is. Number 2, eat with your cycle, phase-based foods. This is probably one of the most underrated things that you could do. It sounds overwhelming, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty good. If you are overwhelmed by the idea of eating for your cycle, start with seed cycling. Super, super easy to do. You basically just rotate every 2 weeks with 2 different kinds of seeds. Sunflower seeds, sunflower, pumpkin, sesame. What's the other one? I'll pop it down below. So eat with your cycle. Number 3, start seed cycling. Seed cycling is probably the easiest edible way to do it. I've got plenty of videos on my TikTok going over this. Prioritize liver support. So leafy greens, lemon, and cruciferous vegetables. Liver support is so, so important. Usually it's the first organ that I look at with my clients and that we start supporting if there is nothing else that is more concerning to me. So usually I just start with the liver so we can start getting the eliminatory pathways open. Liver support is Really, really important. Stabilize blood sugar, protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Blood sugar, great. If you can get that under control and you can stabilize it beautifully, great. If you are, there's many different ways to skin the cat to do this. And there's obviously a few things that can also upset your blood sugar balance. Keep that in mind. Again, we'll do a deeper dive on another video on that. Heal your gut, probiotic foods, and remove triggers. This could be a bit more complex for a lot more people depending on what the state of your gut is in. Likewise with the liver, depending on what the state of it is in, depends on how much effort and work you have to put in. The gut is a little bit more challenging sometimes, but if you're just getting started, you're just fresh into it, look at getting fermented foods in. Just double check with fermented foods that you don't have a reaction to it. Probiotics can work. Next up on the quick rapid fire list of things to do, manage your stress, nervous system work, breath work, and mindfulness. Just do the woo-woo stuff, okay? Do the woo-woo stuff. Just humor me for 7 days. Put your feet on grass. Get 30 minutes of sunlight in your eyes in the morning. Don't skip breakfast. No tech before bedtime. Give it a try and let me know how it goes. And then next up is ditch the endocrine disruptors in beauty and cleaning products. This one can be considerably overwhelming, and I usually just recommend to my clients that they do this as like a last option. Once they've got the swing of things, like start with the easy things, like don't start with the hard thing. And I don't know, in my personal opinion, I think ditching the endocrine disruptors can be incredibly challenging. Number one, you need to educate yourself on what those are and what it looks like. And then secondly, changing out your products can be incredibly overwhelming. Usually they are more expensive to change out and it's not as convenient to get them. Sometimes you have to buy the stuff online if you love online shopping. If you're like me who just like orders from Checkers or goes to Checkers, you know, you just grab whatever's on the shelf, whatever you normally used to buy. Usually recommend to my clients, if they want to start switching out, switch out one by one. Like if you run out of dishwashing liquid, then when you go to the store, instead of grabbing your normal one, go have a look and see if there's any cleaner alternatives with cleaner ingredients. Can you read what's on the back? Does it make a little bit more sense to you? Is it marketed better? Sometimes the ones that are marketed that are cleaner are genuinely cleaner than your other ones. And it's not to say that they are, it's not to say that they are super clean, but yeah, that is always a good option if you kind of already in your cycle syncing phase, if you're already eating and whatnot, then you can look at those as extra ones to help out with. So let's talk perimenopause. It's not just about hot flashes and mood swings. It is basically your transition period from going from womanhood into becoming the matriarch. So it is like your transition period. If you're setting yourself up well in your 20s and your 30s, this period the transition is going to be easy, right? It's going to make sense. You're going to be able to see the changes. You're going to know what's happening. You're going to know what's going on. So that's why it's like, I think, super important just to support yourself in those early stages. So it's your hormonal transition from fertility to menopause, and how smoothly it goes will very much be dependent on how you treated yourself in your 20s and your 30s. So if you're already struggling in your 30s now, yeah, your 40s don't fix it. Basically, that's literally what I wrote here. Your 40s don't fix it. They magnify it. So it's just going to basically put a big magnifying glass or add fuel to the fire. So if this all sounds like super overwhelming, don't stress. There are simple, easy steps to take and small little moves that you can make, changes that are easy and that aren't considerably overwhelming in the space of things. You can start whenever you are ready, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, you think you are almost in menopause, or you can feel the symptoms, you can still start. Like there's no, oh, I should have started already kind of concept, especially with me. I'm super chill and relaxed and always advise my clients, whenever the time is ready, whenever you feel comfortable, you know your body and you need to listen to it. And adding additional pressure on yourself is just not worth it. So if you can only do seed cycling and that's what you do for the next 6 months because that is what your brain has capacity for, then that is a huge step forward, massive step forward. If you can do the seed cycling and the nutrition and the tracking and whatnot all within 4 weeks, awesome, great. That's what you have capacity for. We're all in different phases in our lives. We all have different capabilities and, goals and wants and desires and priorities. So take it as you need to, okay? If you're wanting extra help, I've got a ton of extra resources. You will be able to get all the links in the description down below. There's freebies, there's ebooks, there's courses, programs, memberships. I've got a bunch of stuff depending on what you're looking for and how much help and assistance you need. There is some really fun and exciting things down there. So do give that a check out. And then if you are wanting to get started, an easy entry way to get started with me is to grab my complete guide to harmonizing your hormones. You can utilize all the information in there, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s or 60s if you want to, because as women, we still have hormones no matter, how old we are. And it goes over your cycle, the different phases of your cycle. It also goes over tips and tricks for the different phases. Some biohacks are in there. Also has a bunch of recipes for each phase of your cycle as well. So it really just gives you an introduction and a good entryway into cycle syncing. That's the easiest way to get started. Then you can follow the link down below to grab that ebook as well. And then with that all said and done, this is a wrap for today's episode. I hope you're walking away with a little bit more clarity and a whole lot more confidence. If this resonated with you, let me know down in the comments below what was the most tidbit, awesome information that you got. And if you do have any questions, do drop them down below. And naturally, if you have any serious concerns or any crazy symptoms that you're feeling a bit nervous about, please go see your healthcare provider, the person that is most important to you in regards to your health, whether it be a doctor or naturopath, nutritionist, whoever it is. Please go see a healthcare provider that can help you with that. And if you're ready for some personalized support, fun and fitness and detoxing and all of that good stuff, you can definitely check the links down below. I've got a bunch of stuff there for you guys to go check out. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Same place, same vibes. Cheers.